gerontology. Thank you very much. Now, you have been busy. We have quite a few questions, which we're going to now put to the panel. Please do keep them coming in, and as I said before, if there's any that we don't get around to answering today, we will most certainly put them on the website and answer those for you. Now, Martin, if I could ask you to start the ball rolling by asking a question of your own to our panel.
Sure. Well, we've all talked about managing with agility. I'd be interested in whether, as you were listening to my story, whether you felt there were good points of connection, whether there were things that you felt, yeah, I agree with or I disagree with.
I feel that this accelerated possibility of Tyson's had really impressed me, and I think this is one of the main things to get very quick in changes, and that's my really deep feeling.
A lot of very good ideas, what you have shown us and told us. Let me say also one thing. We have done also one experiment. Because our people have said we are always too complicated, a lot of description and what we must look for, and the process is always too slow. All the things are taking too long. And that was the idea to create the 555. 555 was 5 teams with 5 topics to solve a problem in 5 weeks. All the people said that's not possible. Then we invited them to bring all the points where they say, oh, I'm struggling for this topic, it makes me angry. Then we have collected all the ideas. It was more than 1,400 ideas. Then we have brought it, distillated down to 5. And then 5 teams have solved the problems in 5 weeks. It was really a push in the organization, driven by themselves. Nearly the same I have seen here.
I like the idea that you invent new products according to the needs of customers or patients in our case. I think it's very important in a changing world. Due to demography, there will be more old people, more chronically ill people. So I think we need different care settings, and it's very, very important to see the needs.
Martin, I think this has to be a question for you first. How do you take the first steps to becoming an agile company?
I like that question. For me, it's about thinking. That's the start point, is the way that you think. So if you think, I'm going to do this quickly, I'm going to do it well, I'm going to put a lot of strength into it, it's not therefore going to be about having a massive organisation with lots of people, because that actually has the opposite effect, that can slow us down. It's about very clear thinking. I think taking the first steps to becoming agile, it's a simple plan. It's probably a raise the bar high type plan with quite ambitious goals, and then it's about instilling passion and belief in selecting the people that you put in the team so carefully that they all have the same attitude towards the potential success. In small, successful, agile teams, there's no space for passengers.
Good answer, thank you. Germaine, if I could just ask the same question to you, because you have revolutionised your business, you brought in new blood, you brought in new ideas. Are you in agreement with what Martin said?
I agree, but I would add that we need some kinds of tools for really rapid communication between the actors of the groups. I think that WhatsApp, for example, or other tools like internal Facebook, to rapidly get information and reactivity between the people that have to make the change in the organization.
Thank you. Can we have our next question, please? Do you think excellence models are applicable in agile organizations? Not many so-called top agile companies are implementing it. They often play their own game. So what excellence models can do in agility area: adopt, embrace, ignore, reject. Well, that's many questions in one, isn't it? Rupert, if I could just come to you first, do you think excellence models are applicable in agile organizations?
Yes, of course. It's only a question of the people. So when an organization likes to come to an agile organization, at first is when the member of the board like to do this, and they can motivate the people, the leaders, and also the people which are doing daily the job. Then it's possible to get an agile organization. Definitely.
Now, presumably, Mark, it's the people that are at the heart of everything, isn't it? The people have to want to adopt and accept and move forward and be agile.
Yes, so if an organisation is starting from the beginning, so like a startup, it may not need a model as such if it has the right people and the right mission. But what I have observed is in more established businesses that maybe have lost their way, and it may not be that the people within the business are wrong or that they're not agile. It's just the way that they're all operating together. Here is where I think a process can act as a catalyst and actually really help to get people back to the fundamentals of clear communication and high ambitious acting, fast thinking. So I think, in the right setting, excellence models can help.
And of course, it's a journey of continuous improvement, isn't it? It's never giving up, always moving forward, always looking for the next big thing, and be willing to adopt.
Absolutely.
If we could have our next question, please. What would your advice to start doing in order to inject innovation thinking inside a company? Okay, so what would your advice be to inject innovation thinking inside a company? If I could ask that to you, Dr. Herman.
I think it's essential to involve the staff, to involve people doing the work with patients, for example, and ask them what they think patients need. If you get this involvement, I think it's quite easy to do innovative things or developments within the company. But I think this is a very, very important issue.
Rupert.
People are the key, definitely. So you must have the right people, and then you must let them also freedom to develop ideas. I mean, it's also necessary when we are getting creative, especially in our business, automotive. But the main key is always people.
I think it's obvious though that we live in a culture where being good or being okay simply isn't good enough, and in order to be sustainable and have longevity in any business, and we have 4 very different businesses here, you need to be excellent. I think that's the crux of everything here, isn't it, really? Okay, let's have our next question, please. Martin, did Dyson ever benchmark?
That's a very interesting question. And I think the answer is no, not that I recall.
Never?
But no. I think in an informal way, Dyson was highly alert to what was going on around him. And this is probably going to sound arrogant, and it shouldn't be taken as that. But because our determination was to do things differently and better than anybody else, then we didn't place a high value on imitating others. We actually wanted to, even if, one of my guys once made an interesting observation, and he said, sometimes us being different might mean that we're not actually as good as somebody else. But because we're so determined to be different all the time, isn't that a danger? And I thought, yeah, that's a fair point, because we don't want to be worse than other people. But the feedback that we used was, customer feedback was really important. So we tracked constantly how our consumers were reacting. We won call centre awards and customer service awards endlessly. That was really important to us. And the way the business was growing, how long our people were staying with us, just the whole way that society was reacting to us, gave us pretty good feedback. So I'm not aware of it, but maybe they do now, but of any formal benchmark.
Okay, thank you, Martin. Let's have our next question, please. Dr. Becker, this is for you. How has agility helped you over 35 years to become a leader in orthodontics?
Agility is a part of our EFQM model program. We had EFQM started in 2004, so this is not 35 years. We had a growth slowly until the years 2000, and then our growth were more rapidly with the help of the model and with the communication between our people. And would say it's mostly the last 12 years where we had a big growth.
Thank you. Another question, please. Isn't agility just another buzzword? I'll say it again. Isn't agility just another buzzword for out of the box thinking? Rupert, I'm going to come to you this time.
Can be. It depends always what you think about this. I think agility is a little bit more. I've also mentioned it before in my presentation. When you look really to the fundamental concept from EFQM, agility is very clearly described. And only to fulfill the 4 main words in the description, that's agility for me. Thinking out of the box, everybody can decide now to do a little bit thinking out of the box. Agility is wide more.
Okay, thank you. Let's have another question, please. Dyson, back to you again, Martin. If you see agility as a strategy, do we expect something different from Dyson when in 3, 5 or 7 years ahead?
Well, you understand that I've been out of the company for 4 years now. That might have an impact on the answer to this question. I would expect that unless Dyson abandons the core principles which represented the foundation of growing that fantastic company, then absolutely. And that's one of the great things, because people generally in society all around the world, they do expect that things are going to come from Dyson, because the vision of Dyson was to make products which were different and better, and to become known all around the world for doing exactly that. So yeah, I would say we should expect it.
I have a question for you, Martin. Is it difficult to leave a hugely successful company like Dyson?
Yes, of course it is, but I think it's probably easier than leaving a company that's in crisis and where you're just about to be fired.
Good answer. Okay, let's have another question, please. Mr. Rupert, this is for you again. How did you spread your excellence approach to all other plants in your network?
Good question.
We're giving you all the difficult ones here today, aren't we? I do apologise.
The point is, we have worked very strong with the EFQM. So we have defined our strategy and also our goals. In our business, ABS and ESP were really a small advantage. The advantage is we have a modular product, and the production lines are mainly built in Hollbacher. So the technique on which we are producing the product are designed, developed, and built in our plant. And we spread this out to the different other plants. So it means 10 other plants. And the small secret behind this, all these lines are completely linked together. So we call it Industry 4.0. We have started with this 15 years ago, and I have a connection rate of 98% of all machines, old machines, newer machines, older machines, and everybody in the network have the machines, I have not with me, on the smartphone. So we can look very deep in detail, and the main point is now what we are developing here in Leinker, special on the topic productivity, we can transfer very easily out to the world because the processes are standardized. And therefore, we haven't transferred now our strategy because each plant must develop its own strategy. But we are able to transfer out and also get in the information from the whole IKM, from the International Production Network. And therefore, the nice thing is you must develop it only one time and then copy.
Okay. We're almost ready to break for coffee. We just have time for, I think, maybe one or two more questions. How can you promote agility thinking and acting when you need an ISO certificate every year? Who'd like to take that one?
I used to get similar challenges, maybe not phrased exactly like that, from members of my team. Because sometimes you find yourself in such an oppressive and difficult environment with so many demands upon you, forecasting, budgeting, whatever, that it's all very well, Martin, that we have to keep thinking and generating ideas, but we've got all this stuff going on. And my answer to them every time used to be, well, then let's just fall over. Let's just fall over. Because if we can't, see, I love the agility word, I must confess, I really like it. Because to me it's synonymous with fitness. It's youthful. And I'm not youthful, by the way, but I would describe myself as agile. So it's a really, really good handle. So I think whatever life throws at businesses, ISO certificates or whatever every year, if we can't find a way of keeping the thinking clear and the energy high, then don't worry, your competitor will figure it out.
Can we have another question, please? Is Agile easier in a service environment or in a manufacturing environment? Martin, I might bring that one back to you as well, since you have experience in all of them.
I think in the manufacturing environment, that is where the conditioning and the toning of the business is heavily dependent upon system and process control. I'm sure you would agree with that. So it's less about infusing and inspiring hundreds or even thousands of workers and them returning to the manufacturing scene to give off their best. You can't leave anything to chance. So actually getting that real sense of agility in manufacturing is really hard work, and it's all about process and systems and line balancing and all those other things. And if you do that, it's fantastic. In the service environment, I think it's more cerebral. Like if you think about service in the true context of the word, the people who actually interface with your customers, whatever systems they're using, whatever smart devices they're using, if they haven't got the right way of thinking in here, it's not going to come out right. And your customers aren't going to get optimal service. So they absolutely need to be completely in tune with your mission. And that's about communication. You said that point, because when you've got 10 people in your business, you can swing around in your chair with thoughts, and you can get the same message into all their heads in one conversation. It'd be one heck of a big chair to address a team of 12,000 around the world. You can't do it. So it's about delegating responsibility across your management team, but consistent messaging. When I used to travel the world, which was nice, one of my little tricks, my team initially hated before, but then they kind of expanded it, was I would ask people questions, base level people in the organisation, and the questions were designed to try to find out what messages they were receiving from the top. And if the message wasn't what I wanted it to be, then I had a little chat with that manager.
Thank you, Martin. Well, that's the end of our panel debate. I'd like to say a big thank you to our guests, Martin McCourt, Rupert Hollbacher, Dr. Jermaine Becker, and Prim Dr. Brigitte Herman. Please give